Yes, sir.
I have a question.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't know whether you can answer it or not. The governor spends a great deal of time making a budget. He provides funds for the various agencies. However, the various agencies are not satisfied with the funds that the governor provides. So they hire lobbyists. And these lobbyists go to the appropriation and the finance committees. And they say, well, we want to charge surcharges. Okay? A surcharge is just fine. But they charge the same amount for all facilities. And that's wrong. It's like saying a person makes $200,000 a year and a person makes $20,000 a year, and they both should pay the same amount of tax. That's ludicrous. Those who have the money, those who have the larger facilities, should be paying more than the smallest facilities. I have a bed and breakfast, a small restaurant, and an antique shop. And I'm 84 years old. And now my business has gone from up here down to here, zero. When the health department charged a surcharge, they started out by charging $40 for each facility. So it was costing me $80, it's costing McDonald's $80, Burger King $80, Holiday Inn $80, and so forth. Those people are making $200,000 or $300,000 a year. My income was around $1,200. They did it for 2 years, and I figured it was only going to be for 1 year. Instead, it wasn't for 1 year. They got greedy. They put it on the next year, which is just fine. I paid these monies. But then they really got greedy, greedy, greedy. And that's terrible. Judge Ludwig spoke this past summer to the graduates of Lee High School, and he spoke about honesty, integrity, credibility, but he left out the word greed, greed, greed. And so the health department got greedy. Instead of charging $80 and $80, which would have been fine, I wound up having to pay almost $500. $500 surcharge. I wonder, what do they do with all this money? What do they do with all this money that they're collecting? And how much are they collecting, and where does it go? I don't know. I tried to speak to Senator Hanger last year when I picketed the Appropriations Committee here in Stanton, and I got nowheres. Why? Why? He's hiding in a closet. Maybe that's where it belongs, still hanging in a closet. But he wouldn't come out and speak to me. And this is sad. Who does he represent? I mean, I don't mind paying all this money if it's going for a good cause. But they also told us this past year or so, the governor gave them an increase in salary to health departments. And still, that surcharge is still on top of somebody's head. I mean, like I said, Holiday Inn can pay it. They all can pay more than what I should be paying. They should be able to do something about it. The people who are serving on these committees are sleeping. Either that or they're pocketing. Because when the people go to the Appropriations Committee, right, these lobbyists go there, they give the Appropriations Committee a certain amount of money to the PAC, and it's all distributed all over. That's the way the government works, and it's wrong. It's time to, these are difficult times for a lot of people, and yet taxes are going up, everything is going up, everything, you're just driving them down into the mud, and it's time to start changing that thing. And before I finish, I'd like to speak with Mr. Landis and Mr. Bell privately and express my concerns to them, because I have a couple of pieces of paper that I want to hand to them so that they don't forget what I'm saying. Thank you.
Well, that's exactly what this meeting's for you to come here and tell us what you're experiencing as a businessman. And it's an upside-down world where government charges business for the right to do business in the Commonwealth. What we need to do is encourage businesses and not overcharge them by excessively charging fees for health department licensures. Now, when the health department did institute those permitting fees, they were excessive, and we heard about it. I had a small Italian restaurant in Buena Vista that let me hear about it because I was in there. They had the best baked ziti around, and I heard about it every time I wanted to go get that baked ziti. So I wrote into the health department. We talked about it amongst ourselves. I think there was such a widespread concern about it that the health department actually scaled those back the following year.
We adopted a budget that actually took those down from where they were the year before, and are trying to bring it back to the levels that they were. It was one of the, again, it's been said, we're required to balance the budget. So the Department of Health, to balance their budget, they increase their fees. It's a tax. It's like anything else. But the year after, we brought it back down, and I think we're back at the levels that they were before the recession, so that the fee is no higher than it was before. We did increase it for 1 or 2 years, again, to balance the state budget. Unlike Washington, print money, so we have to come up with the dollars. But your fee should not be higher than it was that you were paying. If it is, then we can look into it and find out why it's different. But you're right, smaller businesses are supposed to pay less than a larger business based on the kind of operation you have and the kind of inspection they're doing from the licensing.
The point about it is, they should not be charging everybody the same surcharge.
But they don't.
It should be either graded according to either income or according to facility. Not the same thing.
It's according to size.
Because Holiday Inn and those companies there, they can afford it. They can afford $1,000 and still not hurt them.
Yeah,
But I can't afford $80. $80, and then when they got greedy, they charged me $500, over $500, and me, like a fool, I paid it. I shouldn't have paid it. And right now, I'm not going to pay them a nickel. Now, it's up to the Appropriation Committee and the Finance Committee to straighten this health department out once and for all.
In the interest of full disclosure, Mr. Albino and I have had this conversation before, on more than one occasion. I believe it would only be fair to say that we were able to provide you some relief at one point. We didn't fix everything, we didn't pretend to. We have dealt with your concerns, we have addressed them, and we've done what we can do. So I think it's good for everybody here to know that too.
Well, we appreciate the comments, and everyone who makes comments and wants to be respectful of everyone else's time is welcome to talk to us afterward. Continue to be in touch with us. We have all of our contact information. Our aides are here as well. So keep in touch with us, and we'll be happy to help you as we move towards session.